Hi, welcome to Room 9, our region's largest classroom. I'm Mrs. Williams. I teach first grade in the Windsor C1 School District. That's in Imperial, Missouri. This is
Mrs. Forth. Hi, everybody. I'm from the Rockwood School District. I'm excited to be here with you today as we learn a little bit about reading and math. So before we start, we really want to know,
where are you? Are you near the airport? Top Golf? Are you out at Six Flags?
That's where I live.
Yay! Are you near the Magic House? Closer to the zoo? Maybe you are close to the St. Louis Arch or the Mississippi River. That's where I'm at. I'm a little bit south of St. Louis in Herculaneum near the Mississippi River.
It looks like we have friends from all over St. Louis joining us today.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
Very exciting. Okay, let's go ahead and start with our welcome poem. I'm going to point to the words. Feel free to join along with me as I say them. Ready? Welcome, welcome, everyone. How are you today? We are so glad to be with you, learning math and reading too.
And speaking of how are you today, we need to do a zone check because before we get ready to learn, each day we check in on our body and brain. Really smart scientists that study brains know that happy, calm brains do the best learning. If you are in the green zone, that means that you are calm, you are happy, and you are ready to complete your work, help others, and reach your daily goals. And this is the hand signal. So if you are in green zone, show me you're green and good to go. If you are in the blue zone, you might be feeling a little slow and low today. You might need to draw a picture, get a hug, or think some happy thoughts to be ready to learn. Your hand signal will look like this. If you are in the yellow zone, you're maybe a little frustrated, anxious, or maybe just really excited in a good way, but not ready to learn yet. So you need to take some deep breaths, get a hug, or talk to an adult that can help you be ready. If you are in the red zone, you have flipped your lid. Your hand signal looks like this, and you're probably not learning with this right now. You're very angry or upset about something. You need to stop, get help from an adult, take some deep breaths, and check the size of your problem. So show me your hand signal. Are you green zone and good to go? I hope you are. If you are blue, yellow, or red, choose one of our strategies to help you get ready to learn.
Are you guys ready to get started today? All right, before we start, let's do our Room 9 chant. Can you read this along with us? Okay. I am smart. I am kind. I am brave. I am
me.
Hi friends, happy Thursday. It's our last day together this week, and we're going to keep working on word endings. All week, we've talked about some of the common word endings that we see as readers and that we use as writers. We see ED, we see ES, we see S, we see ING, and we see ER. And we've practiced taking words like play and adding different endings to it. Like maybe adding the S and it changes play to plays, or play to playing, player, and even adding ED. That's right, this is the tricky one. ED is the one that can say 3 different sounds. It might say, the D sound. You see that? It might say the T sound. And it might say the id sound. So let's look at that one again. What are you thinking? What sound is the ED making in this one? Played. That's right, it's making the D sound. Played. We're going to keep practicing with that ED ending because it is so tricky and we see it over and over and over again. In fact, I was reading a book that I really love to read with my kids that we've actually read before if you've been with me for a while, and I noticed on the first few pages, so many words had that ED ending. It was crazy how many words. So I thought maybe today we could go together through the first few pages of the book, figure out some of those words, and then write them down and make our own word sort with the different endings that we're seeing, just to keep practicing how those ED endings can make different sounds. So the book that I was reading with my kids, The Boy Who Cried Ninja, and this book is written by Alex Latimer, published by Peachtree. And in this book, that's right, things kept happening and the boy was blaming the ninja and the parents and the grandparents. Nobody believed the boy until finally at the end they did. So instead of reading the whole book and talking about the story, we're going to actually just look at the words and notice the endings. I went ahead and underlined those endings that I was noticing as I read with my children. And then our work is to figure out, what is this word? And then what sound is that ED ending making? And you'll notice that there's other endings too besides ED, but I just wanted to focus on the tricky ED ending for today. So the boy who cried ninja, you see an ED right away. You're right, cried. I know this is a little tricky because we know the word cry has a Y in it. That ED ending changed the Y to an I, but it's still an ED ending, isn't it? So think right away, cried. What sound are you hearing in cried? Cried. Yeah, that D sound. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and write it down in our sort already. I'm going to put cried under the D sound. Cried. Cried. Okay, let's go. Keep your eyes out for the words that I underlined. You want me to zoom in? Okay. Here we go. Once there was a boy named Tim who no one believed. There are two words here. Let's go back and look at those words and figure out what sound they're making. Once there was a boy named. What are you hearing? Named. The D sound. Okay, I'm going to write that down on our sort. Named. Okay, named Tim, who no one believed. Believed. Say the word. Believed. Now think, what are we hearing? Believed. D. Another one, that's 3 in a row that have the ED ending and the D sound. Look at that. Cried, named, believed. Let's keep searching. When his mom asked him what happened to the last slice of cake, he told her the truth. When his mom asked him what happened to the last slice of cake, he told her the truth. Yeah, what's this word? Go ahead and you can take off the ending. Ask. When his mom asked. That's right. That's a tricky word to say. I agree. A lot of times, actually, when I'm reading with first graders, yeah, they say id, asked, because it feels a little bit easier to say asked than asked, but it is a T sound. Try it out. Asked. When his mom asked him what happened, happened. Where should I write that? D or id. Happened. When his mom asked him what happened to the last slice of cake, he told her the truth. It was a ninja, cried Tim. Cried. Yeah, we already have that one. Where did we put it? D. Let's check our work. Cried. We were right. Okay. First, the ninja crept into the house. Then he kicked it into the air and ate it in one bite. You see that ED ending? Okay, let me cover it. What's that word? Kick. Now we're going to put that ending back on. Then he kicked kicked. Kicked it into the air. Where should I put kicked? Kicked. Under the T, kicked. 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 And ate it in one bite. When his dad asked him where the hammer was, he told him the truth. When his dad asked him, that's that word again, asked. You're right, we did do that. Where did we put asked? Under the T sound, asked. That ED ending is saying the T sound, asked. When his dad asked him where the hammer was, he told him the truth. An astronaut landed in the yard and needed to fix his spaceship. Now there's two words in there. Let's go back and look at them. Landed. 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 What does that ED ending say? Landed. Id. That's our first one on our sort so far, isn't it? Landed. 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 An astronaut landed in the yard and, help me out. Need. I like how you change that vowel because our vowels can make two sounds, can't they? We've learned that together, haven't we? Need, needed, needed. Another one that says id. Landed, needed. Say those two words. Landed, needed. Are you hearing the difference between the d, the t, and the id? Yeah. So let's go back and read all of these words and see if we can tell the difference between the three sounds that ED is making, because they really all do have ED. So our eyes notice the ED, but we need to make sure that we're adding the right sound for ED to the end. Ready? So all of these words should say d, like dog, right? At the end, d. Echo me. Cried, named, believed, happened. Did you notice that? Let's read those again. Ready? You can say them with me this time. Cried, named, believed, happened. Okay, what about these words? We're going to expect them to say what sound? The T sound. The T sound. Ready? Asked, kicked. Asked, kicked. Great. And then these are going to say id. Ready? Landed, needed. Great job, readers. Did you notice how just in a few pages of that book, we found lots of words with that ED ending? I told you that those endings are everywhere. And remember, when you're reading endings ED, it can make 3 different sounds. And you might have to try it out a few times before you get it. When I see a word with an ending, what should I do to help me figure it out? Cover up the ending, figure out the word, and then crash that ending back on. Let's try that. Ready? Cover up the ending, what's the word? Play, crash that ending back on. Player, you got it. How about this one? Let's try this. Cover up the ending. What's that word? Jump. Ooh, it's that tricky ED. Let me see how you do. Good job. You got the T sound. Jumped. We could add that under asked and kicked. You're right. Great job, readers. So as you're reading, and even when you're reading with somebody, notice those words with endings. They might have an S at the end, an ES at the end, ED, ing, or even an er. You're going to see lots of words. And if you feel like you're stuck, notice those endings, cover up the endings, figure out the rest of the word, and add that ending back on by adding the word and the ending and crashing them together. Thanks so much for joining me this week. I had a blast practicing those word endings with you. I can't wait to see how you do in math with Mrs. Williams. Off you go.
Thanks, Mrs. Forth. Hey, Room 9, it's time to get growing our math brains. And today we're going to focus on being able to say, I can identify 2D and 3D shapes. Yes, you can. So what is the difference between a two-dimensional and a three-dimensional shape? Do you remember? Dig back through the file folders in your brain, open up that file, and think to yourself, I wonder. Two-dimensional means that it's flat, that if you sat on it or it was on a flat wall and you had your eyes closed, you wouldn't probably feel it. Two-dimensional is a flat shape. Three-dimensional means that it has width and depth, and if you sat on it or if it was stuck to a flat wall and you closed your eyes and felt it, you would definitely know it was there. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of practicing with some of our shapes. And I want you to see if you can figure out which shape does not belong in this group. Let's take a look and see what we've got. We've got a square, triangle. Oh, that's one we haven't talked about yet, but I bet you know what it is. It's a star and a circle. Let's think about its attributes. That means let's think about all of the parts of it. What do we know about it? Well, how many sides does a square have? 4. It has 4 equal straight sides. And how many points? It has 4. Now this guy is, if you said triangle, you're correct. It has how many sides? 3. And how many points? 3. So the sides and points don't match. I wonder. Are you getting any clues? What are you thinking? Let's take a look at this guy. Oh my, he has lots of sides and points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 straight sides and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. What are you thinking? I'm not sure what these all have in common. They all have a different number of sides and points. Let's take a look at this last shape. What's its name? This is a circle, you're right. Does it have any sides or points? Are you starting to notice which shape doesn't belong? If you said circle, you're correct. All of these shapes have sides and points, but the circle does not. It has none. So our circle is the shape that doesn't belong in this group. Let's take a look at another. Well, just looking at it quickly, we can tell that all of these shapes have sides and points. Let's take a look at each one. Do you remember his name? He crashed into the wall. It's a rectangle. He has 2 long sides and 2 short sides. So how many does that make? 2 and 2 is 4. And he also has 4 points. All right. Do you remember his name? He gets 2 names. So fancy and special. Rhombus or diamond. How many points? 4 points and 4 sides. What's this guy's name? This shape is a square. It has 4 equal sides and how many points? Also 4. What's the name of this shape? It's a triangle. How many points and how many sides? 3. Do you think you know which shape doesn't belong in this group? He does not have 4 sides and 4 points. It's the triangle. The triangle does not belong in this group. Each of these shapes has 4 sides and 4 points. All right, are you ready for another? Are you noticing something different? Each of these shapes are what? They're rectangles. What is this shape? It's a trapezoid. So the trapezoid does not belong in this group. Even though he has 4 sides and 4 points, just like a rectangle, he is the only shape in this group that is not a rectangle. So the trapezoid does not belong. One more. Which shape doesn't belong here? Let's take a look. This one has 3 sides and 3 points. What about this shape? 0 sides and 0 points. What about this one? What's its name? It's a square. Has 4 equal sides and 4 points. And this one is also a triangle with 3 sides and 3 points. Which shape does not belong in this group? It's the circle because it has no sides and no points, and the rest of the shapes do. Good detective work. Now we're going to stretch your brain a little bit more. I'm going to give you some hints at which shape is inside of my box, and you're going to try and guess, but they could be 2D or 3D shapes. So listen carefully. The shape that's inside my box has no sides and no points. It can roll, and it begins with the sound S. I'll give you a few seconds to think. Do you think you know the name of this 3D shape? It's a sphere. This is a marble. It can roll. It has no points and no sides, and it is 3-dimensional. You would notice if you sat on it or ran your hand over it on a smooth wall. Are you ready for another? This 2D shape has 4 sides and 4 points, and all of the sides are equal. Do you think you know what's inside the box? It's a square. Good detective work, guys. Remember, 4 equal sides, 4 points, and you would not feel it if you sat on it or ran your hands over it on a flat wall. Ready for another? This 2D shape has 4 sides and 4 points. It used to be a rectangle until it trapped the... Do you know what it is? It's the trapezoid. Remember, he has 4 sides and 4 points, but his sides are not equal, and he snapped his arms down to trap that naughty zoid inside. All right. I think we've got time for 2 more. This 3-dimensional shape has a wraparound and 2 circular ends. The beginning sound is S. And this particular one that I'm holding inside of our box could be used to drink out of. It's a straw, but its shape, 3-dimensional shape name is cylinder. Remember this guy? There are cylinders everywhere. All right, we've got time for 1 more. This shape is 2-dimensional. It has 0 sides, and 0 points, do you think you know what it is? It's a circle. This one is a ponytail holder. I hope that you had fun learning about 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional shapes. I challenge you today to see what 2D and 3D shapes you can find in your home. I hope that you have a fantastic day, and be sure to take your Room 9 rules with you. Rule number 1 is be safe. Make your space bubble. Keep your hands, feet, and things inside of it so you and everyone around you feel safe and happy. Rule number 2, be responsible. Take care of yourself, do your chores and your schoolwork, and try to do it with a smile on your face. Rule number 3, be respectful. Treat other people the way you would want to be treated. Use nice words and a nice voice. And rule number 4, make yourself proud. Do those things that make you feel warm and happy inside. You start to make a bad choice and it makes you feel or sad. Stop, make a better choice, and fix your problem. I hope that you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.
Teaching in Room 9 is made possible with support of Bank of America, Dana Brown Charitable Trust, Emerson, and viewers like you.